Welcome everyone to another episode of La Cosecha Media Lounge. I'm your host, Andrea Cano with Summit K-12. On today's episode, we have Dr. Jennifer Dobberfuhl Quinlan. And as we're doing our interview today, there's a lot of background noise because La Cosecha is the place to be right now. And there's lots of people coming in and out of sessions. And so please pardon the noise as we have our conversation today. Thank you again for being here today. And first off, before we get started, I have to tell you, I love your necklace.
Well,
it is beautiful. I just had to say that first and foremost. Thank you so much. Can you tell us a little bit about what is your why? What do you love about what you do?
So working in assessment sometimes is like the not sexy thing. But what I love about it is that it gives us a lot of really valuable information. And so I get so excited about being able to improve program metrics, being able to improve curriculum or instructional strategies, and giving students like something tangible that they know how they're doing, what they can do with what they've acquired in their language skills and in their content knowledge. So I get excited about assessment.
So you said it's not the sexy thing to do, right? But what led you to that? What brought you to this position?
So I had been a district coordinator, not a coordinator, a district administrator in the K-12 sector in a rural area where we had 3 or 4 different languages at any given time, but very dispersed geographically in a very underprivileged area. And so I think just even early in my career, I became very attuned to, we need ways to give legs to our program. We need ways to show our stakeholders that what we're doing makes a difference. And we need ways for our students to feel pride in what they're accomplishing. And all of those, it was really hard to rally everyone around the same story.
Yes. So you said that assessment is what you love and it gets you excited. Can you tell us a little bit about your work and what you do?
Sure. So at Language Testing International, we deliver actful assessments. So what I do is I get to work with schools and agencies, commercial entities, government entities to talk about kind of how, why, or what to assess, and to look at then how to leverage that data or that information for improvement or for recognition or to qualify for distinguished awards and things like that.
Okay. Yeah. And you had a session, was it earlier today?
It was.
Okay. If you could tell us, because we have an audience here that will watch this that weren't fortunate enough to be here today, and I know they would love to hear a little bit about your presentation and what you presented to the group here.
Sure. We talked really about data. And so we looked at the data of DLI students in immersion programs versus students not in immersion programs and how they're testing on standardized tests. So like the language arts test or the math test or whatever. And in fact, we looked at programs in Utah and in New York, and we saw that the DLI students are scoring at or higher than their non-DLI peers. And that is exciting.
Yes, it is. It is. It's always, a validation for the teachers, right? The hard work, because it's hard. Dual language, implementing that is, as a former dual language teacher, it is hard. I know the why, I know the importance of it, but there were days that I questioned my sanity. But hearing that just validates all the hard work for
it also really shows us like what we can be doing with this information. So testing is one thing, but actually doing something with what we learned from the testing. And these examples from 2 very different programs, one's a statewide adoption versus a small school, a single school that's kind of like this beacon of light in the state of New York. And both of them took really simple steps to share the information. And it has like changed stakeholder engagement, parent engagement, student like involvement and engagement in the program too. It's really exciting.
And that's, and we hear those buzzwords, right? We call them buzzwords in education of data-driven instruction and this, but it truly is. That's what assessments are for. It's not to overtest our kids and to say, yep, I taught all these things. It's to drive our instruction, right? It's to do, and is that the feel that most of the people in your session were kind of feeling and seeing?
There's that. And then they just recognized like the different layers of communication that maybe they're missing some pieces, or they're like, oh, well, we've just been comparing our data against ourselves. And it never occurred to them, like, look at what happens when we compare it to the district level or the state level, and having just more numbers where you realize like, what we're doing here is actually really remarkable compared to the state averages, or things like that, or even comparing to national averages and recognizing like where your school falls compared to national averages. Like there's a whole kind of added level of awareness when you realize like that's a simple thing to look at publicly available huge numbers, and yet a lot of people were like, never even thought of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's one of those things as educators, it's something we have to do, right? Assessments and things like that. But I love that you're bringing up how to incorporate it. But most importantly, being at La Cosecha, a dual language conference, is that they're outperforming students that aren't in those programs. And we can see the benefits. And we know the benefits of bilingualism. But it's nice to show people, look at the data. It's not just us that live it and breathe it and love it. It's
Right.
There's data that follows it and supersedes all the things we're doing.
It really helps us tell our story.
Yes, awesome. Now, we talked about La Cosecha quite a bit here, but what do you love about La Cosecha? What's your favorite thing about it?
I have to say, this is my first year at La Cosecha.
Oh, is it?
I love it. I love it. The energy, the investment of everyone, the just focused ideas, tangible, like really measurable ways of improving our craft, right? I love the energy and the excitement
The
here.
energy and the passion. You can feel
Absolutely.
it. I mean, you can hear it
You
right
can
now,
hear it.
right? You can hear it. And that's what I love about this is one, we're embracing dual language. We're going deeper into dual language, and you feel it, you see it, and it's exciting. I'm glad it's exciting. This is your first one and that you're enjoying it, and hopefully you'll be back for many more.
Totally. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing what you're doing. And I'm glad that you're enjoying La Cosecha.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of La Cosecha Media Lounge. And thank you for our guest, Dr. Dobberfuhl Quinlan, for being here today, taking time out of her busy schedule. And I'm excited that it's her first La Cosecha conference. I'm sure she'll be back for many more. Thank you again. Remember, keep learning, stay curious, y hasta la próxima. Disfruta el viaje.